This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we're going to have a special guest on the channel with his none other than taking down not one, but 2 store championships in his area, so with a very spicy deck. So without further ado, let's get into this video and talk about it. We have none other than Sean. He's a really great, fantastic Gallantmon player, and he's got something very spicy for you.
So I played in 2 store championships. I went 4 in the first one because we didn't do top 8, and then the second one I went 7-0. Got a little scared about some matchups, but I ended up doing really well. So the eggs I'm running are just 4 Digimon because they're really nice just for the draw, so you can just suicide a Gillmon if you need to get an extra draw if you already have one in hand to, set up your field and hatch next turn and just build a stack. I was running a 5th, but I found the 5th one, getting the extra DP, you just brick if you need to unbrick, so that was pretty painful.
Oh, that's very understandable.
Yeah. Also, I like the pretty artwork a lot more.
Oh yeah, always have to max rarity this.
Yeah, I'm probably going to keep always just trying to max rarity it. I got 4 of the EX2 Gillmon because it's not broken, but it's really good because you can just Digivolve it straight away if you want, and you get this nice and heritable. Or you can hard play it and search pieces, but I found half the time hard playing it is if you really need pieces, like you're missing one or something, or it's just better to try draw into something else. And then I have 4 of the starter deck Gillmon, mainly because his warp effect people forget about, and his draw ability is just too good to go with the Gigimon. If you're at like a War Growl, you kill something, you just draw 2, or go into like hard play this at the start and just go Gillmon X, kill something, you draw for the evolution, and then draw another card for just killing something, which is also really good for a card advantage if you're trying to build really quickly and you're missing pieces.
Okay.
Next, I only run 3 Gillmon X, which most people try run it at 4, but I found you don't need it all the time. It sucks when you need like an extra 1k to pop an 8k thing with Wargrowl X, but with the current meta, I found that running 3 Solomon in it is a little nicer, because if you run 2 and they pop 2, you can't really just defend yourself like a 1-turn save or something.
Especially against like Blue Flare, Crossheart, even just when they try to slam Death X on you. At least that shuts it down for a turn.
I mean, even Bielstar, which is probably my worst matchup I've ever had, even in BT9, so this just shuts it down for a little bit, which they don't have the answer. You kind of just sitting there waiting for them to fill their field for you.
Okay.
Because it's either fill the field, or they give you, a couple turns ahead of them. And being 3k, I'm pretty sure, 3k is nice to swing into other like small rookies, like a jamming Beamon or anything like that.
Okay.
It's pretty nice. Or, in Pilgrimon decks, they can't really hard play their Stingmon, which is something kind of funny because they just keep passing like that.
Yeah, because people aren't used to Solarmon yet.
Yeah. My favorite Groundmon is probably this one, the starter deck Groundmon, for the extra memory, because most of the time you want that little bit of memory, so sometimes I might choke you to 1, and you can go all the way to 6 really easily with the effects that you have, and I can catch them really off guard, or if you have Blitz, it can catch them off guard as well, so you can get a little bit more of an advantage. And then the other one I have it for is just Groundmon X, because extra card drawer, and if you can get to 4 memory and you just hard play them, most of the time you can just choke them to 1, which is really nice.
Yeah, especially going like going second in the game, where they give you like 4 because they had to play their memory tamer.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. Like, you can just hard play this, Digivolve it for 0, and then go into a War Growl for 3, and you just skipped a bunch of evolutions, even have a Gilmon in your raising just for a walk in case you need it. I found going second or first, it doesn't really matter with this deck, mainly because you want to try to get into a War Growl, sit it for a little bit. You can either promote it if you want to build a second stack if you have all the pieces, or just set up Tamers while in the raising. But most of the time you can kind of bait someone thinking you don't have a War Growl X if you just don't go straight into it.
Okay.
The last level 4 we have 2 Agunimons, because Aguni for game, or Gallant X for game, which most people don't think of. Probably one of my favorite Tekkens. Like, most people run it at 1, or they just run these 8. But I found just running 10 is a little bit more consistent, especially when I played in the DC1, I had this amount of level 4s, but the rookies were only a 4/4/4. So putting them now at 14 has helped a lot, but I somehow managed to brick on level 4s and level 3s when I did that, so this meta is a little bit more fun, how I could amp more rookies into it.
Okay. And with this, the champion line, we know EX3 is around the corner. What is your opinion on the new Growlmon from EX3?
The new Growlmon's good, but I don't like to delete my own Digimon unless I'm playing like a Digimon deck, where if Digimon dies, you can just respawn a Gilmon and a Takato. The new War Growlmon's nice because you can start building and playing your Takatos for free, as well as hopefully trashing some key pieces of your opponent's deck. And then, yeah, I'd probably say just to keep this Growlmon, unless you're going for more of a purpley kind of deck with it. Like, extra security checks can be nice until you go against something that, you hit some checks and then you hit like 15k, but you can't get over 15k, so you just drop. It's not the best kind of situation. I mean, with the level 6s, you have a security attack on Gallantmon already, and then with Gallantmon X, you can restand. You can still go for 1 extra check, or go into a Crimson mode and do some huge damage. So it's not like it's the worst. You just want to play more of it's either if you want to play a more aggro or more control-y kind of version of the deck. With the level 5s, I just run probably the most basic ones because it's just too good. I see some people run EX2's War Growl, which, fair enough, but I would probably rather this, where you get an extra security attack at your level 5, and it only procs if you kill something, so it can help against a Venusmon in certain situations if you ever paired against yellow.
Oh, of course.
And then, everyone's favorite level 5 from the deck that most people hate, for War Growl X, which is probably my favorite level 5 for it. It is too good against Mastermon decks when they play a level 5 and you can just pop it and then gain the member for it.
Yeah, punish them straight, right?
Yeah. The only problem that I've found with this deck so far is probably like Greymon decks, because they can just stop you from deleting them and keep raising to level 6. So you can't really pop the Digimon, especially if they can get a reboot. So
yeah.
Not really that fun.
So
I did versus Master during the Store Championship, and I went 2-1. I kind of got really screwed over where I tried to rush them really quickly, and then they just did the Lucymon play, and I got really unlucky from it.
Yeah, so if you were to tech in the new AX3 one, what would you be taking out for your ultimate lines to make that a reality?
I'd probably just take out these 4, to be honest. Like, they're good, but I found most of the time when I'm doing 2 checks, it can be really, really nice, but then sometimes a 3rd security check you could hit into an option that could just kill you.
That is true.
Like, I have Delicate Plan, but then I'm thinking of more, 3 Crimson modes in this deck, and more of a set them up to die in 1 turn by just milling all their security, which most people would probably think, oh, it could take too long, you could get rushed down, but that's what this one's for, to kind of help you keep memory, keep choking, stuff like that. You can do a lot with it.
Okay. Okay.
Level 6 is most people like EX2 Gallantmon, but I think this one's probably the better one, the starter deck one. You can make him 14k, and if you go into Gallant X and restand and swing, you can make him 15k. So with this version, you'd swing for 3 checks if you could kill something with this, and then you'd evolve into this with nothing on field, go for 2 more checks at 15k, and then just go blitz only one for game.
Okay.
Most people don't see it coming, especially since most people only run Crimson mode. But yeah, the next level 6 is just 3 of the X antibody, which it's really good, but I feel like it needs a little bit more, like for the whole deck itself. So I'm not sure if it'll get ever more support with different kind of effect, because the deck needs a blocker. That's the only problem it has. If you brick and they take out everything, you can't really do much if they have a hybrid for game or rush.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
you just need to keep stalling, really.
With BT12 around, when that comes out, you at least get some more spice. And with BT13 being another Royal Knight set, we should probably find and level out everything at that point.
I mean, I'm hoping so. Like, favorite Digimon, so I just keep repping it all the time. Even if I think to myself, oh, I want to play something else, I always end up playing this. Because, I don't know, I keep seeing, meta lists and all that, and they always say this is not a good deck. But I found that the worst I usually do at a locals is probably going 3-1 with it. Might go 2-2 on the off chance, but usually 3-1 by getting 1 loss. And only 1 I don't think is that bad. Like, you're not always guaranteed, always undefeated.
Yeah.
Even if you went undefeated at locals, going to a major event, you could just, lose almost every game. It's just more what could be on the top of your deck, how does it function, is it consistent enough, and most people know red's not that consistent compared to like blue or green. So you just gotta be really really thinking about what pieces you bottom deck, if you'll ever see them again, how many cards you can cycle through your deck with just drawing. Just hoping that you get what you want. Level 7s, I only got 2. I've got Blitz Omni because still broken card, unsuspend and go for game, which is not the hardest, especially with all the things you can do. And the one Crimson mode that is just terrifying. Like, I went against, when I was versing the Mastermon player in the Store Championship, I kept ruining his field till I had about, I think it was 1 security left, and he only had a purple tamer and a yellow rookie in raising. He kept playing Flame House Scythe to keep playing his Angemon to heal, and I would just keep popping it, so it'll just keep going back and forth, and I'll keep choking him at 1. Don't think he had another rookie because of the size of his trash, so he was only able to, keep it in raising, didn't want me to gain my effects. And eventually I just went into this, and I kept it on field as long as I could, just, swing security, trash some stuff. And I think I went through about 7 security to end the game in 1 turn.
Wow.
Yeah, most people don't know what this can do in end game, because most people try to rush it down quick like Metal Garurumon, but Metal Garurumon, I'm just thankful that it's not like Greymon where it can stop itself dying from an effect.
Yeah, that's the huge benefit there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably the best benefit it has. There's also some nice combos with Agunimon and Gallantmon X that you can use with, as long as you can get to at least 5 memory with a memory boost or anything, or if you can at least get a little bit less memory and they have 2 small things on field, you just go Agunimon on a tamer, X antibody underneath it, make sure you have Decado on field, go into the X antibody War Growl, gain some memory back if you don't have it, and if you do have it, just swing with it after Digivolving passing turn, and you can warp into a Gallantmon X to finish off a game with 1 security.
Okay.
People forget X Antibody's effect can still trigger when it has Blitz at level 5. So it is kind of funny to see people just sit there and be like, oh, okay, I didn't see that coming. The Tamer's probably my favorite one that's some people think is broken, Decado. I don't think he's that broken, it's just it depends how you use him. Like, sometimes I don't use him for the memory at all if I want to keep choking someone, and leaving him at 1 is probably better than continuing my turn.
Oh, of course.
Just so I can, just so I can win. The other 2 tamers, which I'm not sure which one to do for EX3 yet. I don't know, EX3 yet. I'm still probably going to debate it. A tie, so I don't need the ground one anymore, the war growl. Because sometimes it pops up and sometimes you need it, and then hero, because, I mean...
Magic numbers.
Yeah. Puts you to 3, gives you an extra boost to your Digimon when attacking, so you can still pop something with, to start at Gallantmon and still get 1k less than what it is. Which isn't the worst sometimes to be 13k.
No, not at all.
The options are just 2x antibodies, because you need the option. 2 red memory boosts, even though some people play 3, I feel like 2's good enough, because most of the time if you brick and you need 1 card, you just play this and then unbrick yourself. And then the delicate plan, which, it can save you sometimes, especially against a blue player hitting a memory spark.
Okay.
Not memory spark, hammer spark, my bad.
It does the same thing. It gains a memory, so I don't blame you.
I just hate blue so much, especially with the past metas always being blue on top and hammer spark, blue hybrids. I just hate the color for it now.
Well, because nobody else gets a fair toy like that.
Yeah, I mean, red gets delete stuff, gain a memory, but not all the time people will have things on field, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, blue just sneezes and, oh, look, I got the memory. Oh, look, I drew like 30 cards. Beat me.
Yeah, it's insane. The only thing you can do to them is blow up their field, and then they can't do anything, or make them waste all their resources, but they could just draw into this stuff again.
So, tell us a little bit about your matchups on the first run with the 7. Let's hear the 7 runner.
My first matchups, my first top 4 matchups were, was a Black or Greymon that I got really, really lucky against, because I got him in 1 turn, I think, and then it ended up being, he had a Black or Greymon on field, suspended, and I had a Gallantmon. So I swung into it, trying to trade, because I went into, I had the X antibody underneath the War Growl, sitting up, in case it died, gain some memory. And then I went into the Gallantmon X and just swung into it. So I tried to trade them so I could gain memory back and just hard play a Digimon, but he let me delete it for some reason, which I was confused about. I'm not sure if he was tired or if he thought it'd be better than a trade, because I'm going to still be gaining some memory back, which could be a little bit frustrating. So I ended up going 2-1 against him, and then my next matchup was Mastermon, which I went 2-1 against. I overthought some plays, which really screwed me over. Some things went over my head, and so instead of just rushing, I thought maybe play a slow game might help me a little bit more, which it did, obviously. The next one was Metal Grumon X, which I bricked on the first start, where I had to go Gilmon X, and then I had to hard play a War Growlmon. But because the guy didn't want to play any rookies, he was kind of forced to play some rookies, because, that searching power at 8 memory, you can go into Metal Gru X, but then that's it. You don't really get all the effects you want from it.
Yeah.
And then I just popped his rookies, went for 3 checks, and had 2 Gilmons in field where he had to swing into the Gallantmon and return my rookies, so I just built up into a level 5 stack instantly. And I just, I sat there waiting, see what I could do, and then, I ended up just going 2-0 against him, which I was pretty happy, because Metal Gru can kind of be unforgiving on about the 3rd or 4th turn, but if you get him early enough, I don't think they have enough cards for it. Okay. So you can get really lucky. The next one was Jessmon, and I went 2-0 against Jessmon. Most people think it's this unbreakable board, but they just can't be DP reduced, and that's about it, or return to bottom of the deck. So I just popped all the system ones, and I just kept swinging him really, really quickly. So I thought, as long as I can kill all of his stuff, including the Jess one, he just can't rebuild in time. So that was fun. I had to go into Crimson mode at least. I think it was both rounds I had to go Crimson mode just to delete his entire field. But it was a pretty quick game. And then in the top 8, I had to go against Blue Flare, which I 2-0'd, just played one Digimon at a time, and then I'd build a big stack, swing. He couldn't do anything, so early when he brought about 2 or 3 Digimon, I'd then promote my second stack at level 5, blow them up, trash top of security, and go Crimson mode.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the second game against him though, I actually had to use Crimson mode and Omnimon just to finish the game because I misplayed I had X antibody under a level 5, but I didn't swing to Digimon because he had nothing on field where I would have unsuspended.
Mm-hmm.
So drawing into that Omnimon saved me because then I could go for the final check. After that, I versed Armor, and
is that GX armor or is that just regular armor?
Yeah, it was GX armor. I didn't see his GXs though because I think he was just trying to rush me down as quick as he could. You know, it's hard to beat a Gallantmon player if you don't rush them really quick, because if they set up for a late game, they could have 2 X antibody Gallants on the field and a level 5 in Raising. And if you just lose one Digimon, they trash 2 from the top of your security, which is just terrifying.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I got rushed down pretty hard from him, and then he tried to rush me at the very, very end, and he had a suspended Magnemon. He had a Magnemon on a Magnemon on a Magnemon. And I was just terrified to try and go through that, and he swung with it, trying to finish me off. But his other level 4 died, and he didn't have enough memory to go level 4 on a Chimera. So I just promoted, and I took out all his security, which it was fun. Usually I play this matchup at home, but it's a very frustrating matchup if they get the perfect God Hand. You can't really do much to kill them. And they're just gonna swing you, Digivolve again, swing you, Digivolve again, and then go Magna X just to like stop you from being able to do anything unless you can swing higher than them. And then the last match was kind of funny. It was the same Jessmon player that I versed before top 8.
Okay.
I versed him again for the last one. I went 2-1 this time. One of them I just couldn't deal with anything, didn't have the Walkout X, so I just could not, punish him for the system ones. But on the third round, I ended up, he tried to OTK me, and he got me down to 1 security, and all his stuff was suspended, and he ended up having 2 CLs on field that he played. So he Chimeraed them and put Savior underneath. But he couldn't unsuspend with the Savior because he didn't have any more sister ones on the field.
Oh.
So I promote at level 5, go into Wargrowl X, and his Just one's about 14k, and it's getting buffed by the egg to, if he has another Digimon on field. So I ended up going into Gallantmon, X antibody underneath, swing into his Jessmon, X evolve into the Gallant X, pop his Chimera, trash top of security, finally swing into his Jessmon, and then I ended up at 3 memory in the end, so I just hard played a Groundmon, and couldn't really do much to that. So I choked him, and he had about 2 or 3 security, just enough for, 8 Crimson mode range.
Okay. I'm seeing the spice.
It's most people just try run, the limited amount of stuff to get the most potential, but I mean, we're not in the Japan meta, so we have some breathing room with, level 3s, level 4s, which is nice.
Of course. And then your last run, the last 3 games you had to do for the last store championship?
The last store championship, I don't remember all the matchups. I know I had to verse a Jessmon that I 2-0'd. I had to verse a Grandis that I 2-0'd. So I 2-0'd everyone but the last person where I 2-1'd him. I got a little too impatient with Blue Flare, and they punished me in return for that.
Okay, so it was Jessmon, Grandis, and Blue Flare were your 3 games.
There was one more, but I'm just trying to remember what it was. I just can't remember what it was for some reason. I think it was a Rush deck for some reason. But I ended up 2-0ing them as well, so I went 2-0 the entire day, but the last one, where it was 2-1.
Okay.
But it was nice because most people didn't really think Gallantmon could do much in the set, so...
It's crazy you didn't walk into, like, Cross Hearts, which is very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Cross Hearts is, it's a 50-50 with my deck, so if they have the 3x4s and the x5, I mean, not really. You can't do anything against it. No one can. They just rush you with all of them, and it's just game.
Okay.
But if you can get a double Solomon on field, you can kind of screw them really, really badly. Like, when I went to my locals recently, I versed a Shalmon at the start, and I got, 2-0'd by them, and then the next match I had was Cross Hearts again, and in my head I was like, oh, can I please not have to verse this again? And I ended up winning, so I went 3-1 in the end, but Shalmon is a really, really good deck, but it's like the same with Jessmon. If they see their pieces, you can't really do much to it early on. And, whoever bricks first just loses with it, so you have to keep momentum and keep doing stuff. Yeah, Shalmon, if they play their tamers, you're kind of in a bit of a pickle with them, because you don't want to see Taiki first. You kind of want to hope they don't have it.
No. You can deal with everybody else, but Taiki just makes everything live.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people that can't deal with Cross Art at all, and it's just a frustrating deck. Like, my friend plays Black Hole Greymon, so he's kind of fine with it after he upgraded his deck for it, but it's just frustrating, because if you try Tekken to beat their deck, then you're stuck with all the other matchups, like Grandis and all that, so you can't counter everything, but you can try your hardest with, just Solomons to stop people or slow them down for a little bit.
Well, makes sense. So thank you, Sean, for coming on for the channel. It's always a pleasure to have one of the best Gallantmon players in the Europe side. I mean, you're the most dedicated player I know for this deck, and you really always seem to bring it to the top tiers.
You gotta represent your favorite Digimon, don't you?
Oh, of course. So guys, remember, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Remember, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more Sean content, because when he comes up with more Gallantmon spice, we'll definitely be first to present it. So guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!